Hello, welcome to the University of Reading. I'm down here currently on our crops research unit in some of the plots that we've planted up with some diverse forages that we've been researching over the last 2 or 3 years. So I'm going to move the camera around a little bit in a minute and try and explain why we've been interested in looking at diverse forages and some of the results that we've found. As well as this site here, which is our crops research unit, we've also been had similar plots to these planted up in some different locations. So we've had them at our dairy unit at the Centre for Dairy Research at Reading, which is also a Leaf Innovation Centre. We've also been working with colleagues down at Rothamsted Research at their Northwick site in Devon, and also with Duchy College at their site in Cornwall. So we've been investigating, and the results of the study show what's been happening across all of those different sites, so give us a good idea of some of the benefits of diverse forages. When you go out for a walk in the countryside and you see animals grazing, quite often you'll see them grazing in ryegrass pastures similar to this here. So ryegrass has been bred over the years to be high yielding and to produce a high quality source of nutrition for the animals. So it's packed full of sugars and proteins which they need to grow. And on top of that, it's also quite tasty and they really enjoy it. So if ryegrass is so good, then why might we want to change to a diverse forage? Well, first of all, as you can see, the insects are quite interested in the chicory plant in front of us. The diverse forage has a wide range of different plant species in there, each of which attract different insects, and the seeds of which also attract birds into the pasture as well. Secondly, as well as the greater diversity you can see above ground, there's also more diversity under the ground as well, because each of these plants in the mixture has been selected because it has a different root structure. So, for example, the chicory in front of us, that has a really nice long taproot, which helps not only with infiltration when there's heavy rain, but also it allows the chicory to seek out water deep down in the ground when we're under drought conditions. So as a whole, it gives the diverse forage a much greater resilience to differing weather conditions, which is obviously important as we have more extreme weather. Finally, plants like this red clover here and the other clovers in the mixture and the other legumes that are in the mixture all have a special ability to fix nitrogen from the atmosphere and take it into the soil and make it available for the other plants. And nitrogen's really important for good plant growth. Ryegrass doesn't have that capability, so for ryegrass we need to add additional nitrogen fertilisers which are synthetically produced and therefore have a high energy demand in their production. So what we've found from growing these diverse forages across a number of different sites in the UK is that in wetter weather conditions, the ryegrass tends to do a little bit better than the diverse forages. Remembering, of course, that ryegrass has had nitrogen fertiliser applied to it and these haven't. But when the weather conditions are more extreme, such as in drought conditions, which we had in the second and third year of our study, the diverse forages start to do better than the ryegrass in terms of yield. And that is almost certainly due to the more diverse root structure that we've got going on here, with some of the plants able to access water much deeper down than the ryegrass would be able to. So that's all well and good, but what we also want to do is make sure that our cattle and sheep actually like grazing on these paddocks and that they can grow sufficiently well. So what we did over at the Centre for Dairy Research is planted some larger paddocks and grazed animals on there. So we monitored the growth of those animals during that time. And what we found was that the growth of the animals was no different whether they grazed on ryegrass or on diverse forages. So that's really positive. So we can get some benefits in terms of resilience to poor weather, but still maintain good animal growth levels by using diverse forages. We've still got a lot more data that we can research, because we've got lots of data about the composition of these plants in terms of the nutrition that they will give the animals. We've also done a lot of work with the soil and the root structure, and we've been investigating how that has changed over time. We've either been looking at what's happening in terms of the numbers of earthworms, which are looking quite interesting at the moment. So hopefully that's given you a bit of an insight into our diverse forages. If you want any more information, I'll try and include a link somewhere in the video. And yeah, hopefully 2021 we might be able to open and have Open Farm Sunday back in person at the University of Reading.